wake up and realize.
Hey, how you doing out there? Welcome to another episode of Open Doors. It's your boy, it's your brother, it's your friend Chris Harris, and I'm back with you again with another great topic. Before we get started, I need you to like this episode, and also if you haven't done so already, I need you to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's jump right into it. I have a topic I want us to discuss, and it's about the WNBA. In the beginning of the WNBA, there was one game that just set the league ablaze, set platforms, podcasts, episodes ablaze. Topics came out of this one game, and not even just one game, but one play. And I'm talking about the first game of the season for the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. And it was surrounded by two players, and that's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I want to play a video for you, and I just want us to have a discussion about what happened, because out of that one play, it's amazing. It's amazing how things can just catch fire. Just one little basketball play can catch fire, and it can lead to discussions, to topics, and so on. So I want us to watch a video real quick, a video clip, and then we're going to come back and have a discussion. Let me play the video for you.
Clark racing ahead, zips it to Bonner, spinning, wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Rebecca Allen, too strong on a three. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks away. We know there are always increased eyeballs, energy, and attention around the matchups between Reese and Clark, and Angel Reese is still going after Caitlin Clark in the aftermath.
Everyone in the arena had to know this foul was coming. As soon as you saw Angel Reese wide open, you knew that Caitlin Clark was going to come in and take that foul.
Well, tension's high a moment ago after a hard foul from Caitlin Clark on Angel Reese that Angel took exception to. So initially, Angel pushes Natasha Howard. Caitlin Clark points out the no call. Then she applies a hard foul on Reese. Reese gets up right away to get in the face of Clark. Aaliyah Boston ends up getting between them. You'll see on this angle, the initial part seems okay from Clark, but then there's a shove at the end that I think should be upgraded to a flagrant one, because that seemed like unnecessary contact from Clark.
Yeah, I agree with you. And she goes in. There is a little bit extra there from Caitlin Clark in terms of the foul. It's definitely a hard foul. It's not a foul that's putting somebody in a position to get injured. But yes, I think it should be upgraded to a flagrant on Caitlin Clark because of that left arm as it wraps around and pushes.
The initial, you understood what Caitlin was doing initially because she sees a wide open layup. You'd rather put Reese at the line.
After review, the on-court ruling of a personal foul on Caitlin Clark has been upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1. In addition, there is a double technical on Boston and Reese, which offsets.
So there you go. The initial contact from Clark would have been a common foul, but that little extra shove in the end.
You'll see it from her left hand.
Right. Remember that little extension there.
Yep.
All you need is for the foul to be.
So I just want to stop that right there. That was the first game of the season for the WNBA in this 2025 campaign. Against the Chicago Sky, the Indiana Fever played, and that one basketball play. And it was a basketball play. That one basketball play created a storm that so many different topics came out of it. So many different discussions came out of it. Every platform, every podcast that I turned to was talking about this one topic. Every sports show, ESPN, Fox, every sports show was talking about this one basketball play that happened between Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark in the first game of the season for the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. And I just want to touch on it for a second, because as I was watching everything that unfolded by that one, and I keep saying it again, basketball play, this is what I thought of. I said, the WNBA got us. I can see the people of the WNBA, those who run the league, say, gotcha. Why am I saying that? Come on. Let's talk about it for a second. The first week of the season, the WNBA, the first game the Chicago Sky has is the Indiana Fever. The first game that the Indiana Fever has is the Chicago Sky. Is that a coincidence? No. This is why it's not a coincidence, because what did they call that week? They deliberately put Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever for the first game of the season. And what did they call that week? They called it Rivals Week. Gotcha. The WNBA knew what they were doing. And why I say the WNBA knew what they were doing? This is the point. Because everybody loves drama. And the WNBA knows that everybody loves drama. Come on now. You know everybody loves a little drama. You remember when you were in high school, you were supposed to be going to class. You were supposed to be getting to your next period class, but a fight broke out. Drama. And instead of going to your class where you needed to be minding your business, when the fight broke out, what did everybody do? Everybody went towards the fight, surrounded the fight. Now, the people who were fighting, they're in a circle because everybody around them are watching, because everybody loves drama. The WNBA knew this. Because let's be honest, right? Let's talk about it. Let's be honest. The WNBA, they have a product, which is women's basketball. Now, when it comes to, and let me say it this way, the mainstream or the majority, you have some who watch the WNBA religiously. You have some. But the majority are watching it for one reason, and that's Caitlin Clark. So the question is, how can we get the majority in to watch it? You know, for me personally, the WNBA, it's been hard to watch in years past because the product is not the same as the NBA. That's just my personal opinion. As I watched the WNBA in past time, the women's game, and that's not to bash women's basketball or anything like that, and the women's game hasn't been on the same level as the NBA. So ratings have been down with the WNBA. But what brings the people in is drama. People love drama. You remember when the Bulls had their dynasty and Jordan, we loved those series with the Knicks because there was drama. It was a fight was going to break out. The animosity they had with one another, that was a rival, right? The animosity they had. Remember when Scottie Pippen dunked on Patrick Ewing and he said something to Spike Lee on the way back? We love that. People love drama. They love drama. Remember when the Malice in the Palace happened? Quick story. I remember I was out somewhere. This is before I knew the Lord. I was out at a club. Before I knew the Lord, before I was walking with the Lord. I was out at a club when that Malice in the Palace happened. I remember we were at a club and they had TVs there. People were supposed to be mingling and dancing at a club. Nobody was mingling and dancing at this club because everybody was watching what was happening on the screen, the Malice in the Palace, when Ron Artest ran into the stands and that big brawl broke out in the game between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. We were at some other location at a nightclub where we were supposed to be dancing and doing different things. Everybody had their eyes in the club on the television, watching everything unfold with that brawl because people love drama. It's natural. And the WNBA, how can they get people in to watch their game? How can they get the ratings up? Because it's been tough. And as much as people like Caitlin Clark, as much as Caitlin Clark is a great basketball player, And she's phenomenal. She's coming. To me, she's not yet the best player in the league. To me, that's Aja Wilson, but she's coming, and she has her own brand and she has her own cult following, if I can say it that way. But even with Caitlin Clark, I just really haven't had a desire to watch the WNBA except when she plays against Angel Reese, because we love drama. We know something is going to happen in that game. It's going to be some controversy that's going to happen. So we tune in. The WNBA are not fools. The WNBA are not fools. They know people love drama. So they say, let's put Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese the first game of the season. And you know what? Let's call it Rivals Week. Let's call it Rivals Week. The WNBA did that. The league did that. They know what they're doing. Gotcha. They gotcha. And from that one game, the first game of the season, so much has happened. So many topics have come out of that. So much controversy has come out of that. But what does it point to? When these podcasts come and these episodes come and they're talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they're talking also about the product, the WNBA. The WNBA know what they're doing. They're playing each other again in Chicago, United Center, June 7th. But Caitlin Clark has been out with an injury. But let's make a bet, or let's make a prediction. Let's make a prediction, right? Caitlin Clark has been out, supposed to be out for 2 weeks. I believe that she'll be playing June 7th. I believe she'll be playing June 7th because the WNBA knows that people love drama. They know that you're going to tune in because you love drama. I've seen all these different topics and different that come out of this one basketball play. This one little basketball play. And I'm looking and I'm like, it's a basketball play. It's a hard foul. It happened. Move on. In the WNBA, in the NBA, it would never be a topic. But with these two, there has been this created drama. And the WNBA said, let's seize it because we need to get people to watch our product. We need to get people to watch our product. The WNBA has made it a rivalry or tried to push a rivalry between them. And in order for them to do that now, the Chicago Sky have to get better. They want to push this rivalry. They want to push it. They want to push this rivalry. But in order to do that, the Chicago Sky has to keep getting better and better. And hopefully these two teams can make the playoffs, even if not this season, but the next season they get better. And they have to pull the WNBA has to pull a NBA with the Dallas Mavericks. We have to get the Chicago Sky has to get the #1 pick next year. You heard it here in Open Doors. Maybe Juju is coming out. Hey, I'm just saying. Maybe Juju gets healthy and she's coming out. I don't know. But if not this year, the next year, Chicago Sky, if not next year, the year after that, has to get the #1 pick and get someone of that type of caliber, Juju Watkins. Because the WNBA know what they're doing. People love drama. The ratings that came from that one game. There are so many great basketball players in the WNBA. And I said it's been hard to watch the WNBA, but I believe the product is getting better. Let me say that here. I believe I see some of these women who can ball. They're balling. I said Aja Wilson. Even on Caitlin Clark's own team, Aaliyah Boston, she can ball. Nafisa Collier. There are so many. Brittany Griner. There are so many people. Kelsey Plum. And the list goes on and on. Cameron Brink. There are so many people that can ball. So many household names, but they don't get the publicity. People are not lining up to watch them for different reasons. That's a topic for another day. But they want to see Caitlin Clark. But even with Caitlin Clark, I believe people are still not watching. But when you add a little drama, the ratings spike. That's what the NBA needs. The NBA, I said back in the day with the Bulls and the Knicks, I remember when the Lakers won their first championship with when they were playing against the Trailblazers, the Pacers with the Knicks with Reggie Miller, that drama it sparked interest. People wanted to see that, because it brought out the competitive flair in people. It brought out the intensity in competition. Now everybody is buddy. Now everybody is friends, posing in pictures together. Now that's cool on the outside, but on that basketball court, we need you to go at it because you both are trying to get to the end. That trophy is at the end. So that other team is standing in your way. So we want you to show it. We want you to say, hey, you stand in my way, I'm going to knock you on your back. They like that drama. People like drama. So the WNBA, they knew what they were doing. And this is just me. This is just me. Because look at it. I looked at it this way. What's the coincidence that the two biggest stars, the two biggest draws, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, right? Angel Reese would get the ball. Just happened to get the ball. She pushed off. She did push off. It was a no call, so keep playing. She pushed off. But it just happened to be that Caitlin Clark was standing right behind her and gave her a little take foul, but gave her a little push at the end. And you see how Angel Reese got up? I'm saying that to say, but could it be that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they knew what they were doing? We got to get ratings. We got to get people to watch. People love drama. They knew what they were doing. It's just a coincidence. I don't believe in that many coincidences. So just the coincidence that Angel Reese gets the rebound, and who is standing right behind Angel Reese at that moment is Caitlin Clark. And she said, hey, gave her a little push, gave her a little extra there. And the way that Angel Reese stood up and ran after her like she was going to do something. You remember like talk shows like Jerry Springer. Back in my day, Jerry Springer, when in high school, we have an early dismissal half a day. We want to get home to watch Jerry Springer because Jerry Springer was drama. Jerry Springer was drama. You knew somebody was going to act a fool on Jerry Springer. And you know what they said behind the scenes, the producers were in their ear. The producers were telling, hey, put a little bit more on it, They were kind of feeding that whole situation to get them to go off because people love the drama. The WNBA is Jerry Springer. Now, I'm not saying that they had a meeting with Caitlin Clark, they had a meeting with Angel Reese, but I'll say it this way. They both knew the assignment. They both knew the assignment. And it's worked. Gotcha. That's all I have for the day. I would love to hear your point of view. Let's have a conversation about it because that one game, that was the first game of the season. And it was one play. It wasn't even that bad of a foul. It was just one basketball play. Normally in the NBA, you move on. We've seen worse, right? But that one play started a fire. And I believe the WNBA knew it. And they're capitalizing on it, and they're going to keep pushing it. Watch, Caitlin Clark is out. But I believe, because who's going to watch the game if Caitlin Clark is out? They need Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to be on the court together. United Center as well, big arena. I'm just saying, let's see if miraculously Caitlin Clark makes her return. Gotcha. That's all I have for today. That's all I have for today. I would love to hear your point of view. I think we just blew this whole topic out of proportion, but that's what the WNBA was hoping for because people love drama. People love drama. Talk to me, people. I would love to get your point of view in the comments section. Before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to the Dream Team, Blessed Dreams Production, my boy Alfred, and Eyes Have Not Seen, my sister Marilyn. And until the next time another episode drops here at Open Doors, be blessed. Talk to you soon.
Don't ever take nothing for granted, man. Hey, you gotta wake up and realize